Hi, my name is Bob Carroll. I'm the Executive Vice President at Permanent Solutions Labor Consultants, and welcome to this week's Union Free Words of Wisdom. I want to talk to you today about emotional intelligence and strategic empathy. Those are powerful tools when you know how to use them. The problem is, a lot of people don't even know what I'm talking about. Some of you do, but a lot of people have no idea. Emotional intelligence is your own ability to control your own emotions when having a conversation and understanding what's going on with the conversation. And strategic empathy is the ability to empathize with an employee strategically, obviously, uh, looking at the problem through what they're seeing, what they're feeling. And the other part of emotional intelligence is to understand that every worker that you supervise has their own emotional level of emotional intelligence or their emotional quotient. On doing research on emotional intelligence back in the day, I discovered that there is no true test to have a quotient for your emotional intelligence, but it does exist. Some people are just born with it, but the good news is it's a skill that can be you can hone in on. Same with strategic empathy. And it's a very powerful tool. In fact, if you know enough about emotional intelligence, it can be a very dangerous tool because you can actually get people to do some unscrupulous things by knowing what buttons to push. But that's not what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about how do you get your employees to produce, how do you get your employees to produce while happy when they come to work with their head held high and leave with their head held high and they're proud to work for you. Well, you got to, first of all, you have to understand that you've got a group of employees, and not one of those employees have the same level of emotional intelligence. Everybody's different. Your job as a supervisor, if you hone in on this skill, is to learn all of your employees' emotional intelligence levels. And if you're able to do that, you can get them to do things that they never thought they could do because nobody's ever pushed them the right way. And the old days of the heavy-handed, I'm your boss, this is how you're going to do it, those days are gone. We have to face the fact that we're living in a new world. So when we're teaching what we teach and we're talking to our clients, we're really pushing the fact that once you understand that everybody has their own level of emotional intelligence, and you understand that you are allowed to strategically empathize with employees, you can work together and have amazing results. But what's really hard about it is this: you got to remember that every conversation you have with different employees has to be handled differently because we all have our own buttons to push. If you think about a relationship, think about a husband and a wife. Uh, I know that if I really wanted to get my wife upset, I know exactly what buttons to push. I avoid it. I also know what buttons to push to make her very happy. And it's something that I learned because I took the time to get to know her. I worked at it. When I first met her, I had no idea it was a guessing game, but I was invested in the process and we had a connection. So I took the time to learn her emotional intelligence level. And when we have issues, I'm very, very capable of empathizing from her side of the problem. And it makes life at home very, very easy to deal with. And we get a lot done and a lot accomplished by working together. And the same is true in the workforce. It's a little bit harder though because I'm dealing with my wife, I'm dealing with my kids, right? It's a small group. You have, you know, maybe a small group of employees up to you're supervising hundreds of employees. So depending on how many employees you have, you really got to put the work into it to make it happen. But I'm telling you, this is something that if you do it right, you can have amazing results. Production can go through the roof. Your turnover rate can drop dramatically because they're happy to be there. You're leading them. That heavy-handed boss days are gone. We are more of an emotional world now, and we have to embrace that fact. Yeah, we have 3 generations in the workforce right now. So not only do you have to know emotional intelligence, but you have to understand that you have to be able to gauge that through the different generations as well. I get asked all the time, how do you deal with millennials? And the answer is, I get to know what their emotional intelligence level is and look through their eyes. And people say to me, hey, these younger employees, they think everything has to be handed to them on a golden platter, that they're entitled. Well, guess what? My generation, our generation, people my age, we're the ones that created that problem. We have to own up to it and live with it. You want to find a solution? Admit we created the problem and deal with it. But get to know them, get to know what buttons make them work, what their emotional quotient is, and empathize with them strategically. You don't have to give them the world, but as long as they know and understand that you're supporting them, you're on your way to becoming a better leader. That's it for this week's Union Free Words of Wisdom. It really isn't a union free topic, is it? Oh, yes, it is. Because if you can't connect with your employees, especially this millennial generation and the latest generation that come into the workforce, I have a 22-year-old daughter. I know all too well that things are different than when I was 22. These people are getting more involved with social causes. The unions are a social cause. They are more likely to grasp onto a union than people my age. So you got to remember that as well. Thank you again for watching this week's Union Free Words of Wisdom. As usual, please like the videos, comment on the videos. I get a lot of emails. People email me all the time about our videos, but we don't get very many comments. I want more. So I'm asking, tell me what you think. If you see us on LinkedIn, you see us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever it is, make sure you like the videos. And also, go ahead, share it with your colleagues. My goal here is to provide some insight that'll help you be a better leader. Whether you're a supervisor, you work in HR, or you're a CEO, the information is useful. It works. It's what we do. You're getting it for free right here, right now. We got a lot more we can offer you. But these little tidbits, I'm doing it for you. Thank you, and we'll see you next week on Union Free Words of Wisdom.